Hello, I'm Cathy.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Orla, and welcome to Lullaby Book Club. I got a fidget spinner.
Ooh. It's fine. Happy New Year!
It's 2025 now. Approximately 4 days ago, if my maths is correct, we talked about our reading goals for 2024 and what we achieved and what we didn't achieve. So today, as it is the first day of 2025 and we're all ready for a brand new year, we thought we would talk about our goals for the year. I've got 3.
I've got 3.
So we're going to share those with you and then maybe talk about how we're thinking we're going to accomplish them or why we've chosen those goals. And then Cathy has...
have 3. I have Luna.
All does have reading goals. She's got a cat.
She's got a cat.
Who needs reading goals when you've got a cat?
Exactly.
You.
Me. I like having reading goals. At the end of this vlog, maybe not at the end, at some point during this vlog, Rachel's going to help me decide some element of one of my reading goals.
Ooh.
Oh, Orla can help me decide one of the things in my reading goal. She's 8.
Shall we start?
Yeah, let's talk about some goals.
Okay. Do you want to go first or should I go first?
You go first.
Okay.
This is giving ketchup and mustard.
It's giving ketchup and mustard. Are you talking about our outfits?
Just your outfit.
Just my outfit.
Although I am also red, aren't I?
We're very coordinated.
coordinated
By the way,
today.
we did not plan or coordinate to both be wearing yellow headgear.
And then I just realised, now that Orla said ketchup and mustard, my trousers are red and your top's red.
Yeah,
Wow.
we're just naturally coordinated, and neither of us can be bothered to change.
There's this period of time when we went to the same church where 4 weeks on the bounce, we came in like, not identical outfits, but very, very similar outfits. It was quite spooky.
It was. Yeah, and sometimes we were singing together, so it looked particularly
It looked like we planned it, but we really hadn't.
No.
Anyway, my first goal. Now, last year, one of my goals was to read 52 books. It's something that I have said every year. Now, I'm still setting that as my Goodreads total, but I'm not publicly declaring it as a goal because otherwise I'll just get fixated on it, and that's not going to help me read. So instead, I would like to do an author. It's not how you say it, author. An author A to Z for female authors, which is where I'm going to read a book by somebody with a surname starting with A. Instead of starting with B. Maybe not in order.
Not in order, but throughout the...
I'm going to check off all those letters.
Oh, that's really cool.
Because sometimes I do feel that a lot of the books that I read are written by men.
Yeah.
Which is something that... I don't know why. I would like to read more books written by women. So I'm going to do it in the alphabet.
I think that sounds really fun. Are you going to have like a written charter on your phone?
Yeah, so I think I need to go through my book, see what I have, what will fall into each category, and then I'll maybe put them in a special place, and then maybe I'll wrap them all up, or is that a bit wasteful?
What about you start with a big one?
I've already read
She's
that
already
book.
read. Are these going to be new books?
Yeah, books that I haven't read.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll need to visit the library instead to fill in some of the gaps.
My first reading goal is like you, none of my reading goals are going to be to read so many books within a year.
I mean, I suppose technically that one is, because I've got to read 26.
Well, you have to read 26, but it's not about...
It's not about the number, it's about the women.
Yeah. And
Woo, women!
Well, it has to be at least that, or else you won't tick off every letter.
Yeah, but like it's not just driven by numbers, it's like more fun than that. So I'm also not having a read so many books throughout a year because I think that would rob my joy, and I'm happy with the amount of books I read.
That's fair.
But so one of my goals this year is to learn some poetry. I think I want to have a more reflective reading year.
I know 2 nativity poems.
Honestly, some of this is because of you. So
Aww.
in like
inspirational.
I know, she is my inspiration. So at school for like I think like a poetry day, all had to learn a poem, and for her Christmas services she's had to learn a couple of poems. I think poetry is beautiful, and I don't always click with a lot of poems, but when I do find one I like, I'm always blown away by it. I think it takes a lot of skill to write, and poetry is meant to be said aloud and heard aloud, and I think it would do me good to try and memorise and learn some poems and recite them.
My one of my favourite scenes in Anne of Green Gables is I can't remember if this is in the first one or the second one, but there's the poetry recital, or there's a review or something, and Gilbert reads a poem called Bingen on the Rhine, and it's one of my favourite scenes. I don't know if you've encountered that, or it might be in the second one.
No, I don't think I've seen that.
Well,
but yeah, we love it.
That's just reminded me of that.
Yeah. And also, I'm rewatching West Wing at the moment, and like they're all so small that every now and again they just throw in a line of poetry of like, you know, to quote some.
Yeah.
And like, I'd love to be more like that. Just have poetry at my fingertips and be able to like recite it. So I'm gonna try it.
Instead of poetry, I have memes at my fingertips.
Yeah, I do have memes at my fingertips.
Yeah.
And songs like
In the club.
Well, exactly. It infiltrates. This year, I would like to find some good poems and learn them and be able to recite them. And if you know any good ones, put them in the comments.
Bingen on the Rhine! You should read Bingen on the
I
Rhine.
will, yeah, I will.
Okay.
I will read that one.
It's probably in Anne of Avonlea. If you don't remember it, it's probably in Anne of Avonlea.
Oh yeah, maybe I need to read that book then.
Yeah.
Then I can learn the poem from it. I did like studying poetry in like high school and college. Like we did a month on Tennyson and it was amazing, and I can still remember some of his bits and pieces, and I'd like to have more in my repertoire.
I'm in a play in April. That is called An August Bank Holiday Lark, based on the Philip Larkin poem.
Oh, cool.
So maybe in April you could
I could
learn that poem.
one. What's your next goal?
My next goal is to, it's a bit vague, to read more non-fiction. I know that, I mean, obviously people can read what they want to read, and I prefer reading novels, but I'm very aware of my ignorance sometimes. So I want to be more well read in non-fiction to broaden my knowledge of other things.
Cool.
That's the end of my reading
Oh,
goal.
that was very snappy.
Very snappy. Quite vague, but very snappy. I think I maybe read 4 non-fiction books last year.
So if you beat 4, you've done it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a low bar, isn't it?
And they can be part of your women goal too.
Yeah, they could. And do you know what? I'm going to add a little caveat to this, because I've been reading the Letters of Vincent van Gogh for approximately 4 years. That will be one of the books that I read.
Yes.
I'll finish it.
You've
heard me, Vincent. I'm coming for you.
Your letters.
Yeah.
They're gonna get read. I don't know what I'll do myself when you finish that book. I feel like it's a part of our lives now.
Maybe we could get a little attachment to the couch, and when I finish we can just put the book there, and then you can always be with us.
Nice.
Peeping.
My next goal is to start a commonplace book.
I don't really understand what that is, so please explain.
I didn't know what it was
you
until...
basically have one.
Maybe if I read a non-fiction book about it, I would know. I haven't. So
I didn't learn
don't.
about them through non-fiction books. I learned about them through YouTube.
Well, yeah, but Cathy, I was just making a point about my lack of knowledge. I was tying it back to the earlier beat in the video.
It all connects. It all
connects, guys. It all connects. Right, tell us what a commonplace book is.
So a commonplace book is a book that you write down quotes that you find in like books or whatever, or talks, anything that interests you and think is interesting or beautiful or something you want to remember. You write it down in a journal, and you kind of designate pages of the journal to like different themes if you want to. You can organise it how you want, but the idea is that it's a place that you can come to and look back over thoughts that you've had previously, or quotes and things like that. A nice way of reflecting on the things that you read. I've watched quite a few vlogs on this, because you
enjoy it.
Yeah, you know, like how bullet journaling was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that kind of vibe, but a bit more reflective. And Orla said earlier on, like, but you already have that, and I kind of do, because I've got, like, this is my reading journal.
Can I look at it?
You can look at it.
It's got a fox on it.
It's got a fox on it.
Fox.
And gold pages.
Gold pages. Sometimes I go for like an arty look in this reading journal, and sometimes it's just lists and thoughts. On there is, somewhere in there is like a list of what I'd do if I had a YouTube channel. A YouTube channel, and then we made it happen.
And then here we are today.
So like I've had this, 2022, so 3 years. I'm nearly at the end of it now, really. And sometimes in this journal I do write down quotes, but I mainly use it for tracking what I've read, and I like to track what books I've read, the genres, when they were published, and what country the author came from. And sometimes I write little reflective things about my reading. Have you found something funny?
So
Books of obligation.
in June 2023, this is before we started Lunabird, Cathy said it was a slow reading month. Too many long books of obligation, A Memory of Light. Ugh. How dare you say that about Wheel of Time?
100 Greatest Short Stories because it was a birthday present. The Poisonwood Bible because it's on my top 100 books list.
My TBR shelf is actually shrinking. Is that what that says?
It's not shrinking.
Oh, it's not shrinking. I tire of waiting
to be free.
You're so dramatic. I tire of waiting to be free of it. I love it. Well, I like this. She's wrote a quote down. You might not be able to see it. And she's written it in one colour and then gone over it again in another colour. How artistic. You're so... I just love your creativity, Cathy. Like,
some of them work better than others. So yes, I do have a reading journal that's got bits and pieces in it. I think I'll maybe get one more year out of tracking my reading. Oh, maybe two. It's hard to tell. But I feel like a commonplace book that's designated for thoughts and extracts and quotes from books would be a useful, reflective thing to have, and also useful for my writing and for things like sermon preps and stuff like that, because you get ideas, inspiration all over the place.
Tickle your toes.
So yeah, I feel like last year my goal was about reading fewer books and having more fun. And I did have fun, but now that I'm kind of out of studying, I kind of want to get back into it a little bit. Don't tickling me.
You haven't filled in the last 2 months of 2024.
I know, so I'm behind with it.
Shameful. It's yellow, it matches our hats.
It does.
Shame on
You're not wearing a hat, you're wearing a headband.
I'm wearing a headband. Yes, I think I've covered it all. So I'd like a commonplace book. Write down quotes and things that I read, and have a place to store the really good quotes.
I want to make one of those.
One of these or a commonplace book.
One of those. I want to make a reading journal. That's gonna.
Oh, do you?
It just looks really cute, but I don't think mine would be cute.
Sometimes I read really good stuff in books and go, that's amazing, and then I close the book and forget it.
Yeah.
So it's a way to remember the really good bits, and I've gone about that for ages. So good luck editing that down.
I just find you really inspirational. I'm sorry.
Well, that's
Rachel wants that bite.
honestly, but that's how I feel like when I see people writing their commonplace books. You go, ooh, that looks fun. I want to do it.
Maybe I should watch some of these YouTube videos.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's definitely move on.
My third and final goal is more of an attitude that I would like to keep up through the year. Now, when we swapped reading styles for 2 weeks last year in 2024, I'll link the video at the end of this one. I was then allowed to DNF books, and I didn't because I liked the book that I was reading, where I was taking my time reading it. But for that 2 weeks, just the idea that I could not read a book if I wasn't enjoying it, I found it quite freeing. And then towards the end of the year, I had a lot of books that I was currently reading, and I decided to take the bookmarks out of some of them and put them back on my bookshelf. So I want to go through the year with more grace for myself to say, well, I'm not enjoying this book. Maybe it's just right now that I'm not enjoying it, but maybe it's a book that I know that I'm not going to like reading it. So I'm either going to put it back onto my bookshelf or get rid of it entirely, which I think that will make me enjoy reading more, because for whatever reason, as I've grown older, I've become more and more obsessed with finishing things, and sometimes that's just not viable if I'm not enjoying something, which then means that I don't read it and it just builds up and up and up and makes me feel very stressed and overwhelmed. So yeah, I'm hoping to have more time for my own enjoyment and mental space by saying you can
read what you want.
Get rid of books if you're not enjoying them, Rachel.
Yes. I support you in that goal. I think that you do a lot of good stuff with your time, like supporting like community projects, like the theatre and other things, and when you're having your fun time, it needs to be fun.
Yes. What's your last goal?
My last goal is to do another author deep dive.
We are choosing it right now on camera with the hats.
Yes.
I'll hold it, and then Orla, you can pick it out.
Not yet though, because can I explain it?
Oh, okay.
You eager beavers.
We are!
Okay, so my next goal is to do another author deep dive.
Who have you done author deep dives for in the past?
Shirley Jackson, J.R.R. Tolkien, did him last year, and C.S. Lewis.
Why do you like doing author deep dives? What do you feel like you get out of them?
I feel like I get really immersed in somebody else's world or different places in time and history and thoughts. So like reading Shirley Jackson's work and biographies, I just felt plunged into like 1960s America. I learned not only about her and her life, but because she was married to a Jewish kind of socialist author, that also linked to like communism and how like, they were suspected of being part of the Communist Party, and she had a really interesting life. So you kind of touch on, you know, like you said about you want to like broaden what you know. I find like it does that because you focus in on an author and their works, and suddenly it touches all these other things that you weren't expecting, and then you read all their works. And if it's a good author, I think it needs to be a good author whose work you enjoy. I enjoy doing them, like learning new things and reading new things that I might not have come across otherwise.
You are having a lot of fun stroking that.
I am. It's really soft, and if you put it between your thumb and finger like that, and then like you pull it, it all falls against your skin, and it feels really nice. Sorry.
That's right. But my problem this year is I don't really know which author I want to do next.
We have a graduation cap here full of names of possible authors for your author deep dive. Do you want to tell us who's in here?
Yeah, I'll tell you the possibilities, and then Orla's going to pick the one out of the hat, and then that's the author that I have to study.
Because Orla's 8, which means that she gets to pick the name. Ugh.
The potential authors are the Brontes, which I know is 3 authors, not 1.
But I feel like that's acceptable.
They're interconnected, and I've already read Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights, so I'm happy to like dive in and learn more. So the Brontes: Agatha Christie, Shakespeare, William Blake, Christina Rossetti, Tennyson, Oswald Chambers, Daphne du Maurier, and George Eliot.
Okay.
So those were all authors who I know some about but would like to learn more, and some I know very little about and it would be like really like
I feel like some of those would tie in with your poetry ambition as well, wouldn't they?
Exactly, they would. Okay, Orla, do you want to pick which one it's going to be?
Let me shuffle them about. Okay, ready.
Right, I've got one.
Guess who it's going to be?
Shakespeare.
Who do you want it to be?
Agatha Christie.
Who is it?
George Eliot.
George Eliot! Oh, okay, very interesting. So George Eliot, I've not read any of her novels or works, but I've only ever heard people say great things about her. And I think I've just been put off because the book's so big. Somebody put on Twitter the other day like the last paragraph of one of her books, and it was amazing.
Oh, spoilers.
I know, but it was a really good paragraph. So I'm quite excited about that. I'm going to learn about George Eliot this year.
How many different books or pieces of writing do you want to tick off before you read? When do you read the biography? Do you read it at the end or in the middle?
If I can, I like to start with the biography.
Okay.
Because I find,
and then you've got the context for what the writing is happening in.
Yes.
I like that. Makes sense.
So all of these authors that I put in there, I try and pick people who will have biographies written about them. So I'm pretty sure there'll be one about George Eliot.
I would think so.
And then I try and look around. I might try and read like their best known work, and then any diverse writings that they've done. So if she's also done poetry, I'll try and read that. Or if there's like letters, short stories, and try and read a smattering of everything. And the good thing about this is that nobody else sets the curriculum but me. So sometimes it's what I come across, and sometimes it's what I seek out.
Cool.
George Eliot, I shall be spending a lot of time with you this year. Those
were
our
reading
goals
for
2025.
Tune
in
on
Friday
to
see
our
vlog
about
our
top
books
of
2024.
If
you
have
any
reading
goals,
let
us
know
in
the
comments.
Bye.
Bye.
High in the heavens a gold star burns, lighting the way as the great world turns. Silver the frost, it shines on the stem, as we now journey to Bethlehem. White as the ice at our feet we tread, pointing the path to the manger bed.
That's beautiful, Orla. What's your next goal?
My third and final goal is to...
Is to...
What is it? Oh, yes.
And also now it's time for confetti.
Okay,
Because it's
you
Happy
can do
New
confetti
Year.
now.
Okay.
Happy New Year. 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
That did not reach the camera, honey.
Aw. Shall we do it again?
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
What was that on?
It was mostly tassel. You're probably better off doing it with your hands.
Let's
Do
do
you-
it
do you
again.
want
10.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
What?
It's cute.
Looks good. Those are our reading goals for the year. If you have any reading goals, let us know down in the comments, and we will see you for our next video talking about all our favourite books for 22.
It's so good to start with.
You can do it.
No, you do it.
You do it. You do it. Maybe we could do one word at a time each.
No.
Yeah, go on.